Welcome to your deep dive. Ever feel like your brain could use, like, a good declutter? Kind of like hitting the reset button to make room for, more of the good stuff, happiness, success, all that.
It is a pretty universal feeling, actually. Speaks to this desire most of us have for personal growth, I think. A fresh perspective, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what makes the stuff we're diving into this week so interesting. We're going to be looking at this book, Power Reset by Gilles Cote. Promises something like 21 quick and easy ways to rewire your thinking.
21 ways to rewire your thinking. Now, I do think it's worth mentioning before we really dig in that the author Gilles, he didn't just come up with these power resets out of nowhere. It all kind of came from his own life, especially this one period where, as he puts it, he hit rock bottom.
And that rock bottom, as he so vividly describes it, involved being knee-deep in, well, let's just say a slaughterhouse cleanup is not pretty.
A pungent way to kick off your journey of self-discovery,
to put it mildly. But it was a turning point for him, this whole messy situation. He had to kind of reevaluate everything. And he really dove headfirst into self-improvement. Managed to change his life completely, actually. Pretty inspiring.
It really is, and it makes the whole power reset thing more interesting to me, honestly. It's not just some abstract idea he's talking about. These were like tools he actually used to navigate a really tough time in his life and actually make things better. I mean, he's a successful entrepreneur now, happy. It worked.
So, okay, how do these power resets work, though? Is this like a massive life overhaul we're talking about?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
One of the core ideas here is that it's small, consistent changes that really matter. Recognizing that we're often, on autopilot, just going along with whatever we've always been told, societal scripts.
That whole go to school, get a job, work till you're 65 narrative.
Exactly, yeah. And in fact, one of the first power resets Cote talks about is this quote. Once in a while, it really hits people that they don't have to experience the world in the way they have been told to. Alan Kitely said that.
When you really think about that quote, it's kind of intense. It makes you question everything. All those shoulds we put on ourselves.
For sure. It forces you to ask yourself, am I living a life that feels real, feels right to me? Or am I just doing what I think I should be doing? And if it's the second one, then what can you do, even if it's a small thing, to make a change? To make your life feel more, yours, more aligned with what you actually want.
Taking control of your own story.
Yeah.
It's funny, when you think about it, like, if your computer's messed up, you wouldn't hesitate to hit that reset button.
Right. Easy fix. Gets things running smoothly again. But for some reason, when it comes to our own lives, even if we know something's not working, we hesitate to change. Even a little.
It's like we're okay with our own glitches. Like we forget we can hit reset.
And sometimes those glitches, those are the times we feel most stuck, right? Unfulfilled. That's when we need a reset the most. A chance to kind of recalibrate, choose a different path.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one thing to say that, to know you need a change. But doing it, that's different. Where do you even start? How do you go from stuck to, like, actually making a change?
Well, there's this one power reset that really hit me. It's all about, like, taking action every day. This quote, I think it was Mike Murdoch who said it. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. It's about consistency. Every day, making little choices that are building the life you want.
Small steps, big impact. I like that. Way less intimidating than, like, a whole life makeover, right?
Exactly. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress, even if it's something small. Adding in 5 minutes of meditation or switching out that afternoon candy bar for some fruit. Over time, it adds up.
It's building those habits day by day.
And here's the thing. We don't have to start from scratch. I mean, there's this Brian Tracy quote. No one lives long enough to learn everything they need to learn starting from scratch. To be successful, we absolutely, positively have to find people who have already paid the price to learn the things that we need to learn to achieve our goals.
Get yourself a mentor, someone who's been there. Such good advice. Like you're getting a roadmap instead of wandering around lost.
Right. And there's so many ways to find that. Could be someone you know, or joining a group of people with similar goals. Even reading about someone you admire, learning from their story, that can be huge.
It's all about surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
People who get you, who can support you. Speaking of which, there's this quote in the book. It's from Marianne Williamson. It's a little longer, but our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Powerful stuff.
Isn't it? It's like we hold ourselves back. We're afraid of our own potential. What if we actually went for it, What if we embraced all that we could be?
Scared to shine too bright. But Cote, he says it's those moments, the ones where we are brave enough to step into our power. That's where the real growth is. That's where you find fulfillment.
He even has a whole section in Power Reset about taking action, calls it 5 things in 5 minutes. And then there's an appendix, 8 proven steps to start living the life you want.
He practices what he preaches. Doesn't just leave you inspired and then see ya.
Right. He gives you things to do. Like, pick one thing, no matter how small, that gets you closer to your goal and just do it. It's about getting that momentum going, proving to yourself that you can change things.
So often we think we need to have it all figured out. That change has to do these huge things. It's so much better one step at a time.
Totally. It's like a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You don't have to see every step to just take the first one.
Trust the process. Focus on the little things.
Yeah.
And eventually, you get there. But I'm sure some people listening are thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but what if I don't even know what I'm passionate about yet? Like, how do you even start making changes if you don't know what you're working towards? Like, I feel kind of overwhelming, right?
Okay.
You're like, got to have all the answers before you can even start. How do you work towards something if you don't even know what that something is?
It's a really common thing. And actually, Cote talks about that in the book. He's all about a little exploration, quotes Lee Iacocca on that, actually. What is it that you like doing? If you don't like it, get out of it, because you'll be lousy at it. You don't have to stay with the job for the rest of your life, because if you don't like it, you'll never be successful in it.
So you're saying you don't need to have this big master plan on day one.
Right. Sometimes it's more about just DIY things. See what fits, what you like, what you don't like.
Okay, yeah.
Like trying to find your new favorite ice cream or something, right? You gotta try a few flavors. Might not love them all. But hey, you're figuring out what you do want.
I like the ice cream analogy. And speaking of trying new things, there's this other quote that comes to mind, Jim Rohn. He said, simply making consistent investments in our self-education and knowledge banks pays major dividends throughout our lives. It's like never stop learning. Be open to new experiences.
And notice how he says consistent investment, right? It's not about reading one book and being done. It's about always growing, looking for new information, challenging your own ideas.
Always be learning. So I do have a question, though. We're talking about growth and everything. What about success? Like the more traditional kind?
Yeah.
Career,
Yeah.
money, all that. How do these power resets play into that?
I was wondering when you were going to ask me about that. It's funny because there's this quote from Albert Schweitzer. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful.
So it's more about finding what lights you up and less about chasing some definition of success that someone else made up.
Yeah. When you're passionate about something, you just bring something different, Energy, dedication. It can lead to some really amazing things, including, the whole financial success thing.
Do what you love and the money will follow. It's like that, but it's also bigger than just that, isn't it? It's like taking that success and doing something good with it.
100%. This quote from Oprah kind of sums it up. What material success does is provide you with the ability to concentrate on other things that really matter. And that is being able to make a difference not only in your own life, but in other people's lives.
It's about growing as a person and indeed giving back.
Exactly. And since we're talking about making the most of our time, there's one more quote from Power Reset I want to leave people with. Sam Ewing. It's not the hours you put in your work that counts. It's the work you put in your hours.
Work smarter, not harder. Be intentional. Focus on what matters.
Exactly. Quality over quantity. Make it count.
Well, there you have it. Your deep dive into power resets. We talked about questioning those old rules, taking action every day, finding mentors, and tapping into your own power to create a life you actually love.
It's a process, right? But even small, consistent actions, they add up to big changes.
Be kind to yourself. Never stop learning. And never underestimate what you can do.
And hey, never be afraid to hit that reset button when you need to.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.